Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. This is John. He's chairman of the United Tiny House Association. And he's going to give us a tour of his own personal tiny house.
Hey folks, John Kernohan, chairman of the United Tiny House Association and station chief at the Tiny Firehouse, station number 9. This is my wife's my second tiny home. We've been living the past 5 years off-grid in our beloved cabin down in Georgia. She's a 300 square foot tiny home, 304 square foot. My wife gave me a hook on the wall for my baseball caps. That's my man cave, 4 feet. My wife, little tiny girl, about 4'9", tiny wife, tiny life. She rules my life. So this is our new tiny house. She's the tribute tiny house for firefighters. This is a real house. We do live in this. This is our residential house we travel in. It's also a tribute house for firefighters. We raise a lot of funds through our tiny festivals. We call them the 4-charity tiny house festivals. We do these in different states around the United States. We raise money for all sorts of different charities, organizations. When we decided to do the new tiny house, we wanted to make it a tribute house. We thought about breast cancer. We raised a lot of money for breast cancer. My mom and sister passed away to breast cancer. Our board member Shorty is a survivor, but we just couldn't wrap our head around anything other than pink and bras. We just couldn't come up with a theme. Then we thought about doing it for homeless vets. We raised a lot of money for homeless vets. Our last tiny house festival in Georgia a few months back, we had a tiny house built. We paid for it through the proceeds for a homeless vet and his wife living in northern Georgia. But my wife pointed out I was designing another hunting cabin for myself. Camo, gun cases, ammo cases. She didn't have anything to do with that. So we came up with the tribute house for firefighters. The Tiny Firehouse Station number 9, she's 148 square foot. If you take off the balcony and the outdoor shower on the front, out on the tongue, the outdoor garden area, she's 127 square feet, heated, air-conditioned space. Everything you see on the house works, even the stuff, the swag we took off of a fire truck. Something I learned since being in New Jersey this past week, there's a phrase, I know a guy. Apparently, I know a guy. He owned a scrapyard. He gave me a call and said, John, we got a fire truck, come in here. The house will be on HGTV in August on Tiny House Big Livings, beginning of season 6. We went out to the scrapyard with the HGTV crew. I hope it makes it to the show. We got the stripped down a fire truck. Everything you see on here works, other than the dials and gauges. That's just eye candy. You can't have a tiny firehouse without having the eye candy of a fire truck on it. Everything's made of pretty much all recycled, repurposed materials, things we found. Even all the windows, these are all used windows we found. We found them in an old barn. A guy just collected windows from construction sites and everything. So the complete design was my wife's idea. She let me have my firehouse as long as she had complete control over the design. I basically just hemorrhaged money into the deal, and the total cost on it was about $27,000 out of our own pocket. We do have some corporate sponsorships on some things, such as Nature's Head on the composting toilet, Trojan on the batteries, Underline on the roof system, and some local companies in our town for like the slide pole, the brass slide pole from AA Fence Company and South Stair. They did the powder coating on it, etc. The one thing on the Tiny Firehouse, we had our local fire chief come out. He gave us a lot of recommendations and suggestions on the house. One of them was having a lot of egress, exits, and entrances. You'll notice on a lot of firehouses, a lot of them, not all of them, they have one entrance, one door, and then the other exit, the emergency exits are through the windows. We actually have one here. These French doors, we have one all the way in the back, another French door. In the outside garden, there's a gate that leads outside. Off the balcony upstairs, there's a set of French doors that goes out onto the balcony. There's a fire escape ladder that comes down from the balcony. And if you're up in the loft, if the ladder falls down and you can't get out through the French doors out to the balcony, you can always come down the pole. So we got a lot of different exits. We have actually 5 egress and entrance points to get in and out of the house. The house is completely off-grid and on-grid. We've got 30 amp RV service, plus we have full solar service. We run with the Trojan batteries. On a full set charge, we can go for 2 weeks off-grid without charging the batteries. We use propane for the stovetop and also for the on-demand water heater. The only thing we really need electricity for is to run the split air system. We just don't run that through the solar system. That'll drain the batteries, but we only need that if we want heat or AC. In a beautiful New Jersey day like today, it's nice, cool. We got all the windows open and everything. You don't need to run that at all. Everything, the design in here was all my wife's idea. Even the floor itself, this is just 1/4-inch plywood. We chopped it all up. My wife did a treatment on it with a couple of different colors of paint. We glued them down, nailed them to the floor, and just gave it a distressed barn look. It was all scrap wood we took out of a dumpster. It was pretty funny. Took it from a construction site. All the roofing upstairs, the whole ceiling design, my wife with all the skylights. She wanted to have the dormer. All of this is just tongue and groove individual strips of tongue and groove wood paneling. It's a 1/4-inch, so it makes it really light. That was all left over from a construction site. We were able to get a hold of that. The sink, got it off of Craigslist for $100. It's a chemical sink. Instead of having faucets and handles, everything's done with push pedals on the bottom. This way you're not wasting water. You can't walk away from the sink and the water keeps running. You got to stand in front of it. And we got a little refrigerator here, you know, keeping with the red color here, sticking with the Firehouse, and it's functional. It also runs off of the solar system also. And again, we can run the full battery charge. We can run for 2 weeks. When we're plugged on grid and we don't have the solar panels up, we have a trickle charge system. The batteries are inside of here, underneath, inside of this. It's all down inside. So this is how we do it.
So these are absorbed glass mat, 12-volt batteries in parallel.
Yep, absolutely.
And you have a battery tender for trickle charging when it's not parked under direct sunlight?
Exactly. When we're plugged on grid, if we're using the 30 amp RV hookup, we're just giving a little trickle charge to the battery. And when we're tooling down the road, that way we always get a little charge no matter what's going on. We don't have the panels out today because of the festival. They're ground panels on pop-up stands. They just get in the way when we have big crowds like this. Funny thing about this cabinetry design, we're at a fire department, Putnam County Fire Department. They had this same very similar looking design in the garage where all the fire trucks were, except it wasn't painted, and it had the guys' fire helmets in it. It had their jackets, their boots, and everything. My wife saw it and she said that's our storage, and she and one of our friends built the whole thing. This actually came off the fire truck that we stripped down. This is one of the locker hatches, and it lifts up, and then we just built this. This is a little roller. This was made by a vet in the town next door to us, Lou Pop. He also makes the tiny dog house on wheels that we do the drawing for, fundraising for the local animal shelters. And the sister to this is against the wall there. She lifts up, and we have some little galvanized pipes that flip out, and that becomes our table. So she folds out and becomes our table when we need a table at night. And this is a old antique soda acid, the old school copper fire extinguisher, and it was just all retroed out to turn it into a lamp. It actually works.
That's gorgeous.
We actually got that from the sheriff in Rutledge, Georgia, and the lampshade though, IKEA. You can't have a tiny house unless you have something from IKEA. IKEA and tiny houses go together. The whole light bar system, the siren, the alarms, everything from the fire truck runs off the solar system. Outside here we have the outdoor shower area. It all runs on an on-demand water heater. Just turn on the faucets. We have an outdoor shower. We have an outdoor shower off our big house at home. We have a big gorgeous clawfoot bathtub we salvaged from an old barn farmhouse, and we still use our outdoor shower back at home, so Finn wanted a shower on the road with us. And we use a Nature's Head that we got through Jay at Nature's Earthly Way composting toilet. And this is a lot of times this has all Finn's plants, especially when we're sitting somewhere for a long time, if we're boondocking or at a park or something, or even on our own property back home in Georgia for a month or so. We have a lot of plants, and we have an outside gate here that leads outside. And that's pretty much, we got everything we need here.
What is the weight of something like this for towing?
Unloaded, without all the gear, without all the fire equipment, without everything in it, she weighs about 9.6. When we load her all down, especially, and we don't have all the fire gear, but when we put in all the fire gear, she weighs about 10.2. And when I say fire gear, we have lots of stuff, a lot of hoses, ladders, extinguishers, just different things that we have around here. And so she weighs about 10.2. We actually took her to the scales and had her weighed out. She weighed out at 10.2. This whole design here was Finn's idea. This folds up. It locks up when we go down the road. This pulls down, so she's all safe and sealed up as we go down the road. It works on gas jacks, so this weighs about 200 and some pounds. So, but as soon as you undo the hitches on this thing, she just flies right up. The trick is getting her down. You got to jump up and grab her to bring her down. This comes down. This holds about 220 pounds, which means I can't get on it, but my wife Finn, who is about 4'9", she's from Thailand, she gets up there and she just lays on it, does her thing. In fact, that was her whole thing. She built this herself, or designed this herself. She actually wanted to. The big joke at the construction site was the guys told her, Finn, we got to have some structure to hold this whole thing together. But that's why she wanted all the skylights, all the windows and everything. She's real big. It's just like our 300 square foot house at, on our permanent residence. It's nothing but windows inside. So she wanted the same type of thing on the road. The big feature that a lot of people like is the fire extinguisher on the front. The reality though is the fire extinguisher has a purpose. Because we did the outdoor shower in the outside balcony, we had to set the house back a few feet. We lost a few hundred pounds on the tongue. So NOAA, the National Organization of Alternative Housing, they did the inspection on the house so that we could have it insured and foremost as a full-time residential dwelling. Andrew Bennett with them suggested that we put a few hundred pounds, 200 or 300 pounds on the tongue. So we took this 1966 monolithic iron and brass fire hydrant. We retroed it out. We retroed it so it's the crankshaft to the trailer. It's a water outlet. We had it plumbed out for water, so we had an outside water source. And she looks good, and she gives us the weight that we needed on the trailer. This is the on-demand, the propane on-demand water heater, and also the propane for the stove. This is the split system, the outside unit, that's just for the heat. And there's the outside balcony, and that's pretty much it. And if I didn't mention it before, we found all the windows. They're all Anderson windows, but they all came salvage. The only thing that comes out for the gray water is from the kitchen sink. The places that allow us, such as here, where we can collect it in the bucket and we don't have to hook it up to a sewer line, we recycle the gray water for our plants that we have out on the balcony. So we go ahead and reuse that. Otherwise, we treat it properly in a container system or a portable septic barrel that we, like you would have with an RV, or we hook it up like a regular RV station. And again, like I said, she runs 30 amp or she runs with solar. And the back deck, she folds up, she's locked in as we drive down the road. And it also helps protect the back windows, the back French doors in case something kicks up off the road. She protects that from cracking and everything.
John,
anyway,
I really appreciate you giving us a tour and taking the time out of the day. Sure. This is a very busy festival. If you look around, there's a lot of people that come out to this. So I hope it becomes an annual thing. We'll see. How do people find out about you and your organization?
Sure. Please visit us on the internet. Our website is www.unitedtinyhouse.com. You can also find us on the on Facebook at the United Tiny House.
Well, thanks for letting us take a tour of your house. I'll let you go, and I'll tell the viewers a little bit more about it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Y'all take care.
You can see the size. This might be the tow vehicle that he actually tows this with. This is a Ram 2500 turbo diesel, and that could tow about 15,000 pounds, so he's able to tow this tiny house structure. Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I'd love it. I'll see you soon.